Thanks, Bill, and thanks, Jeanette. That was amazing. So I'm just going to recap some of the work we've done on prayer. And when I pray, we all know the next line, my heart goes deeper into my God. And that's a fabulous thought, isn't it? And Jeanette's slides really just sort of had really brought that to life. So we have Unity's 5-step prayer process. Relaxation, concentration, meditation, realization, and appreciation or gratitude. And I was just saying, and I said in our class yesterday, I revisited Frances Fulk's book on effectual prayer, and I was absolutely blown away by her emphasis on concentration. And I paid a fortune a couple of weeks ago to go and hear Deepak Chopra. And his meditation, relaxation technique was so like hers, concentrating at the beginning on the nose, the eyes, and then going down the spinal cord, because Deepak says that's following the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in the body, and bringing relaxation into those areas really brings us into the space of connecting with the divine. And this is a long concentration practice, relaxation practice. But yeah, I just thought it would be an interesting experience for us to share it. I always thought I was pretty good at relaxation. I do some yoga stretches or Tai Chi sort of stuff before I start my meditation, but this really brings you to, I think, to a different level, another level. So if you're okay, this is going to be more or less our meditation time. So if you're okay, get really comfortable. I'll just explain what she says. We let go physically so that the mental purity that we contact in our prayer may enter into the flesh and perfect it. If the body is tensed and cramped, it's continually calling the mind away from its devotions. The body is the clothing of the soul, and the soul is the clothing of the spirit. And a body so cramped that it cannot let go and relax is closed to the beauty and life that spirit seeks to express in it and through it. If you will rest in peace and quietness, in expectancy and faith, inviting the omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient life to come in and take possession, then your body will be thrilled, filled and healed. So if you're okay, let's close our eyes, take a couple of deep, relaxing breaths, get really comfortable. And we begin at the top of the head and go through to the feet, then back to the solar plexus heart center. And there we rest the mind in a holy thought. Scalp and hair, relax, relax. Let the life and beauty and glory of the Most High crown you. There is continually being poured upon me a shower of blessings that far exceed the numbers of hairs on my head. Forehead relax. You need not be tense and wrinkled from anxiety or worry. Eyes relax. All the muscles and nerves in and around the eyes, relax. I see only good in persons, circumstances and things, that the whole body may be lighted in glory. Nose, relax, relax. Let the Spirit of God in my nostrils give me life. Mouth, relax, relax. Let go of all error words that you may be an instrument through which Spirit speaks. Relax all muscles around the mouth, that the corners may turn up and shower inner joy of the heart and the sweetness of the soul. Ears relax, that you may hear the guiding voice of Spirit. Front brain relax. My human intellect is merged with the divine. Base of the brain and spinal cord relax, relax. Let the peace that passeth understanding flow through you and out into every centre of the body. Vertebrae to the base of the spine relax. Let divine strength pour through you into mind and body. Neck relax. Be an open channel through which the river of life may flow in perfect circulation. Let me not in any way be stiff-necked, superior, proud, but let me be poised and gracious in a consciousness of oneness with all. Throat relax, that the power centre in you be baptized from on high. Shoulders relax. The burden is easy, the yoke is light. Arms to elbows relax. Elbows to fingers relax. Chest relax. Expand. Lungs relax. Breathe in and out the breath of God. Stomach relax. Divine order is active in me. I agree with my food and it agrees with me. Liver relax. Let go of the bondage of criticism of the human intellect. Abdomen relax. Relax all vital organs within your walls. Generative organs relax. The river of life flowing freely through me cleanses and renews every atom of my being. Hips relax. You are not weighed down by the burdens of the body. Thighs to knees relax. Spirit makes firm the weak knees. Ankles to tips of the toes relax. The oil of divine love lubricates all the joints in my body. Feet relax, that you do not slip from the path of perfect expression. Heart relax, that there may be wiped from you all bitterness, hardness, or hatred. Love never fails, neither do you fail in any of your functions. My heart rejoices. Solar plexus, sun, light of my soul, light of my body, shine out the glory into every part of my being. As I now focus on a sacred thought, let's just take a moment to focus on I am light and love. Just take that into the silence for a moment. I am light and love. And taking another deep breath, just stretch a little, then come back, giving thanks. Thanks that we can join together, and for the great teachers who've gone before us. So it is. Amen. So here are the 5 steps that we sort of rushed through a little bit there. So we did the mental and physical relaxation, concentration on an idea so that we magnify that throughout the body, meditation, going into the silence, and we talked about this yesterday and we all agree we get glimpses of it, but even Paul Hasselbeck says that he just gets the odd moment of actually being in the silence and not knowing time or anything external. Realization is a feeling that the divine presence is in and around and through us. And in this place, we claim healing for ourselves and others. Focus is less on words than bringing others into this place of oneness. And thanksgiving. And we know the value of gratitude. As Joe Dispenza says, gratitude is the magnet that attracts our prayers to us, the truth of it all. This is a famous quote from Charles and Cora. Prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action known to humankind. One who has mastered even the primary technique of prayer has made contact with the spiritual ethers that connect all minds, by means of which great reforms can be projected into the world's thought or ether. And that's reassuring, isn't it? That how we think affects not just us, but the wider world. Prayer is not something we do to God, but to ourselves. It's not a position, but a disposition. It's not flattery, but a sense of oneness. It's not asking, but knowing. It's not words, but feelings. It's not will, but willingness. That's from Eric Butterworth. And feeling that prayer is answered, it is again that magnet that attracts it. And I like the idea, Paul Hasselbeck's book is Heart-Centered Metaphysics. I'd like to call true prayer heart-centered prayer, because that's the whole idea of it, to come from that heart space. And that's exactly what Frances Fuchs is about with that relaxation that she does so brilliantly. So when we focus on our divine identity and realize that, we pray from our divine consciousness. We pray believing, we're consistent, we're persistent, we establish a consciousness where doubt cannot enter, feel the truth of our divine identity, let go of unforgiving thoughts. That's an important one. That negative emotions form a knot in our heart, I think, that stops us from moving into our higher good. And the good always exists in divine mind as ideas. We bring it into manifestation through prayer of faith, affirmation, praise, and acknowledgement. Here's a quote from the Course in Miracles. There's no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than the other. They're all the same, all expressions. of love are maximal. And when thinking about A Course in Miracles, caused me to look out my copy of Lovers Letting Go of Fear by Jerry Jampolsky. And it's got an inscription in it that I'd long forgotten, to Dearest Leslie from Leslie. And I didn't give it to myself in a fit of narcissism, but there's a great story of healing behind it, and a lot of you have heard it. But I had a colleague at Dandenong TAFE, whose name was obviously Leslie, and she was due for surgery on the Wednesday of a week, and this is all so many years ago now. But we were into A Course in Miracles, and we actually had Graham Johnson coming to my home and taking us in it before I knew anything about Unity. But this really struck Leslie. There's no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. And she dropped her daughter off for basketball in Dandenong and drove up the road to a fundamentalist church. And she thought, okay, I'll go in there while I'm waiting for my daughter. So she went in, and the minister said, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I've been called to do a healing service instead of the talk I was about to give. And so Leslie went forward to get a healing, and she felt this explosion of energy go through her. And she was absolutely certain that this order of difficulties from A Course in Miracles had been resolved through her. And she went home. She was to have fibroids removed from her uterus. She went home, and if she hadn't known she'd had the healing, she lost so much blood she would have had to go to casualty. But she rang the doctor on the next day and said, I don't need surgery, I've been healed, to the receptionist. And the receptionist said, there, Mrs. Morrissey, a lot of people feel that way. You'll still need the surgery. And she said, no, I don't need the surgery. Anyway, she went in, she had an MRI, and she was healed. And her surgeon was so fascinated that he asked her to bring in A Course in Miracles, because he was so blown away by it. She believed she could be healed, and she was. And we've all heard stories like this, but I love them because it always helps that thought in me. I believe, Lord, help thou mine unbelief. But I love that verse in the Bible, and that fellow the father who said that. So there's a sort of another side to this story. Years later, I was at a day with Wayne Dyer and other luminaries at the tennis centre, and I moved seats during the break to get a better spot. And amazing synchronicity, there was Leslie sitting behind me. And she showed me a copy of a Wayne Dyer book that I'd inscribed as a gift for her. And she told me she planned to get him to autograph it in the break. But what was evident in that meeting was that Leslie hadn't been able to overcome a serious drinking problem that had developed over the years. And that brings home to me the paradox of our humanity. We can accomplish so much, but we can sabotage our own good in really spectacular ways as well. There's also an amazing story of Anita Moorjani's healing when she was dying of cancer. It was in Unity magazine many years ago. She was in a coma, and she had a near-death experience, And when she came out of that, when she chose to return to the world, she knew that she was healed. And in a matter of weeks, she was able to walk out of the hospital. And she's been a great teacher about that. So what holds us back from our success? Most of us have a mix of desire and belief. If our desire is strong, then belief or faith is less important in the mix. If our belief is strong, it will either support or overcome our desire. If we believe that we have a death sentence with a diagnosis, it'll be pretty hard to overcome it. And yet Jesus says if we have faith even as small as a mustard seed, we can move mountains. Janet Ellsworth discovered that sometimes we need to grow before our desires are answered. And sometimes I think we realise years later that it was great that that prayer wasn't answered because something better came about. So the 4 blocks that Janet Ellsworth speaks about is an unbalanced or superficial prayer life, our attitudes or beliefs, like Myrtle was able to overcome the medical profession's belief by curing her tuberculosis. I also think of Ian Gawler, who I think was the first person in the world to overcome osteogenic sarcoma. And I nursed a fellow at the Alfred who had it and who died. And that's why I became a follower of Ian Gawler, because he paved the way in overcoming the belief that it was fatal. Teddy Kennedy's son also has now overcome it. Another block is incongruent life. Pray and move your feet. And the examples of Myrtle and Ian Gawler are good ones. They certainly moved into moving their feet with meditation and diet and their attitude as well. And another block is, of course, giving up. And the 4 answers: know, slow, grow, go. I'm a fan of Eileen Caddy, who overcame the most amazing circumstances to build Findhorn, which sadly is now winding up. But she says, expect your every need to be met. Expect the answer to every problem. Expect abundance on every level. Expect to grow spiritually. You are not living by human laws. Expect miracles and see them take place. Hold ever before you the thought of prosperity and abundance, and know that doing so sets in motion forces that will bring it into being. And these are my closing thoughts, and I can't actually read all of this, but this is putting it all into operation, and I just wonder if somebody would read that for me, please.
Okay, I'll read it for you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good, okay. The first one, personal wholeness and planetary transformation can't be separated. The next one, we are not just doing our own personal work. At a certain level, we are all engaging with the collective consciousness. race thought. The work of personal transformation and the work of helping others are essential parts of planetary transformation. And the last one on the screen, our task must be to widen our circle of compassion, to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. Albert
Thanks.
Einstein.
Thanks, Bill. And they were my closing thoughts, that every thought is a prayer, and every thought we have, science now proves, has an effect on the wider thought process, the mind, the one mind that we're all connected with. And we can move mountains if we all have that belief. And so it is, and that's over to you with a lot of thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Leslie. That was just so what we needed now. And we're going to continue that theme, Leslie. Here's a special song we all know, which fits.